There was this weird coincidence. I had a dream. Matty and I were walking down a bumpy village road. The sun was blazing through the smog, an industrial wasteland. It was hard to breathe. Rubbish covered the ground like a rash, clogging the ditches. Poisons pouring into the river. A mass of people was forming ahead, tropical folks. In the middle of all this, a foreign woman glowing palely, explaining something. Couldn't hear what because of the gulls shrieking. The gulls looked like lints of fabric rising into the sky. I would have probably just forgotten it, but a few days later we went along with our friends to the Art Academy. There was this open house day and a fashion designer gave a talk about using sustainable methods in the textile industry. Her descriptions about the factories often moved to faraway lands to be out of sight, with piles of residue behind them, seemed familiar from the dream I'd had, and she was like a stream of hopeful light in the centre of chaos. Turns out there is a pretty good way of not creating the trash piles at all. Well, there is always some kind of solution, but the point here is that it's possible to reduce waste in a preventative manner, to do it in the early stages of production, on an industrial scale, and that it hadn't yet been done. This was the surprise. She had graduated from the Estonian Academy of Arts as a fashion designer and wanted to stick to this vocation, but without taking part in the wasteful processes of the industry. After looking quite deeply into ways of using post-consumer textile and production leftovers for creating new clothes here in the homeland, she travelled to those faraway lands and their textile factories. There she studied what was thrown away and why, and what could be done to save this material, to use it right there on the spot, to upcycle. Software was developed with which a brand and a factory can measure the manufacturing leftovers of a product, to then be able to use this material for creating another product. It's important to know if there are some rolls of textile just lying around from a previous time, or how many completed items were not sold. For example, you can save about 90% of water and energy when you produce a cotton t-shirt using the upcycling method, instead of just creating one from scratch. Instead of shrugging it off with a river of junk, one should start designing things smartly. I'm more of the old school type myself. I didn't get this UPMADE certificate. My environmental impact is not measured. But I'm not jealous, I'm hopeful. After this visit and hearing the lecture, I started to believe that global collaboration is possible and that industries can move towards sustainable production. Maybe an individual can spark a change. I'm now wondering if I could become a donor. The knees are a bit worn, but there are some other usable parts, I think. Or at least I hope one day there will be a dignified manner of recycling me. This is also one of the things that senior researchers are planning there in the Sustainable Design and Material Lab in the Estonian Academy of Arts, partnering with Moi University in Kenya, to study ways of recycling used clothes. The lab has also researched biocomposite materials, and they're studying algae as well. So a lot of exciting and promising things are on the way.